we got some great advice on how to help transition your baby to solid foods.
The American Academy of Pediatrics recommends breast or formula feedings exclusively for 6 months, and then to begin solids, somewhere in the vicinity of 6 months.
They have to be able to hold their heads up pretty well. They need to lose this tongue thrust reflex, which is great for getting breast milk, but really bad for swallowing solids. They need to not choke or gag when they try to eat, and that requires some coordination.
It's really important that when you introduce a new food, you introduce only one new item every 3 or 4 days. This way, if your child has an allergic reaction to something, you know what it's an allergic reaction to. I also advise parents to give new foods in the morning, because if an allergic reaction occurs 6 to 8 hours later, you want that to be in the afternoon, not in the middle of the night. So we try to introduce new foods in the morning.
Recommendations for first foods are changing based on some research that's just been done. Some pediatricians start with cereal, some will start with vegetables, some will start even with meats.
The most important thing is that you are getting your child an external source of iron and that you're letting them experience new foods.
Almost every parent of an infant thinks their child's a picky eater, and there's a good reason for this. Infants have what we call a tongue thrust reflex, meaning when a food item is placed on the infant's tongue, the automatic reflex is, so that doesn't mean the child doesn't like the taste of it. That's an automatic reflex. Another reflex that infants have is a grimace. When they are exposed to a new taste, they tend to grimace. Again, this is not meaning that they don't like the food.
Don't be surprised if it takes 10 to 15 times of introducing a food before your child develops a taste for it. We as parents know that fruits and vegetables are important, and so these are important foods for us to continually introduce to our child.
Everything you prepare with love does not have to be accepted with love, because even youngsters that have never tasted food before are going to have food preferences, and you may get that food back at you very quickly.
You want to make sure that whatever you're making, especially to begin with, is pureed to a very smooth pudding-like texture so it doesn't contribute to choking.
You should never leave your child unattended during meal times. You never know when your child's going to choke on something. So it's very important that there's somebody observing the eating process. Don't leave your child alone.
A lot of pediatricians, like myself, will encourage families to have sort of a device-free zone for the meal. Let's sit down, let's talk to each other, and you know what? There may even be some arguments, but that's where everybody's going to learn what's going on with everybody else, and you know, that's okay. That's being in a family.
You want to have your child, your baby, be part of the family dinner experience at the earliest age possible. Pull that high chair up to the table, sit and eat as a family. The benefits of eating as a family are innumerable. Kids do better in school, there's less of a risk of drug use or alcohol use, there's increased self-confidence in children. So you want to have a family dinner time, a family meal time where everybody sits around the table and eats together.
To role model appropriate eating, good nutrition, and appropriate behavior at the table for your youngsters from age 4 months through teens. So from toddler through teens, we find that role modeling good behavior and eating meals together is extremely valuable.
It teaches them good table manners, and it also encourages them to want to try a variety of foods. If they see you eating different foods, then they're more likely to want to try that. So pulling them up to the table just has so many positive effects and so many long-term positive effects on a family that it is definitely something that they should start early.